Honorable Ministers, the time is far gone. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, of course, I'd like to first of all thank Ike and thank his foundation for this very, very important dialogue. Let me just go straight to the point that I'd like to take this opportunity to get across. Bismarck Rimani gave us the trajectory, just as the Honorable Minister for Budget and Economic Planning said. Where we are is in the middle of very painful reforms that are necessary, that have been long overdue. And I think the main thing about the reforms of President Wale Edun Tinubu is that where we are now, when you look closely, and I apologize, I was at another event earlier, so I missed the deep dive into the data. But if you look at the evidence, if you look at the data, the details, you will see slowly but surely the economy is turning around, and with that, it needs to take the society with it. Reform is not really about, as we had earlier, it's not about failure and success. It's about leadership, and that's leadership's determination and commitment to that reform process. One quick example, then we can take our photos. Mr. President had promised that because the macroeconomic reforms that were long overdue and that needed to be implemented were going to be front-loaded with costs. The pain comes at the beginning, the benefits later. So we had put in place an intervention program, particularly to deal with the cost of living for the poor and the most vulnerable especially, or for the society as a whole, including manufacturers, including farmers. So he put in place a direct benefit transfer. I don't call it cash transfer because that connotes Ghana must go and someone standing with cash. So he put in place a procedure for directly intervening and giving the poor and the most vulnerable that were on a social register funds to help them manage the cost of living increase. It went wrong at first, but the reform is not a failure. The measure, the initiative is not a failure, because having seen that it lacked transparency, it lacked integrity, it lacked public trust the way it was going, it was stopped. Mr. Brent stopped it, put a panel in place. And that panel is now, according to what you would call a world standard, identifying people biometrically and paying them digitally through a bank account or a wallet. Just last week, 900,000 payments went out smoothly and efficiently. And it's a sign of the fact that rather than giving up, we stopped, rejigged, and then started again in a much more efficient manner, speedy scale, and using technology to deliver. Rather than giving up, we're trying and trying again to ensure that the reform, the initiative, the promise to help people is kept. Thank you.